Hello, and welcome back to the Business First Creatives podcast. Today, I am chatting with Brooke Scott, a fellow systems setup aficionado. Now, I do want to say we are going to have a very nuanced conversation today. One of the reasons that I wanted to have Brooke on the podcast is so that you guys can hear how different people approach creating systems for your business. It is not a one size fit all in terms of systems, and it's actually not a one size fits all in terms of who you hire. So Brooke, good morning and welcome to my podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Tell everyone what kind of systems you set up and who you serve.
Sure. So in regards to the system setups that I do, I kind of leave it open. So whatever people are looking for, but I typically specialize in the CRM platforms, the project management platforms, your course creation platforms. Any of those typically is like where I spend the majority of my time. And then also the integration aspects of that as well. So whether that is your onboarding and how you're connecting Zaps from whether you have Honeybook or Dubsado to your ClickUp for your client roster and all the things that need to happen. Then we introduce Google Drive, all of those things. So I dabble in a lot of different quote systems. But yeah, that's what I typically do. And then people who I serve, also, I keep that open as well. As far as like a good description of those people would be like women entrepreneurs who are coaches, typically course creators, creatives, funnel agencies, marketing agencies, people along those lines. I have worked with copywriters in the past. I've worked with other niches as well. Mm-hmm. My approach to that is to just help women in business in general. Because I mean, when it comes to the systems and the tech and the integration and how things are moving in your business as far as your operations goes, everybody needs that regardless of what kind of business you do have. So I like to approach it in a way that I can bring in other knowledge from other industries that I've worked with and be able to approach a situation with a different kind of client and be like, hey, well, I've actually used this, and this. Let's try to implement this here in this type of business and see if that will work for you. So it really opens the door for my optimization skills when it comes to that. So yeah, that's typically the people who I serve. I'm not really niche specific, but my largest group of people is coaches and course creators. When it comes to the educational aspect of things, I do speak a lot to service providers. So all of those people are in my audience, and I'm just trying to provide the value that, these people need, because regardless of who you are, what you do, it's something that you need to know.
Yes, everyone needs systems. Brooke and I agree on this. And yes. I want to make sure that you guys picked up on this, because Brooke will basically help everyone. And you guys know I don't go that way. I mean, I gear all of my messaging towards photographers. And it's because I'm leaning heavily on my 10 plus years of experience being a photographer and using systems within my own business. But while I am willing to help anyone set up systems, I do try to focus on 1 to 2 specific tools, just because it helps me to make sure that I am optimizing and using my brain in the best way. So one of the parts of the conversation that Brooke and I are going to have today is the strategy part. And so when someone contacts me for service, I am typically asking them how their business works, what they're currently using, what's not working for them. But then I get into some very specific questions, because I'm trying to figure out if the tools that I like to set up will work in their business. And of course, like you've mentioned, Dubsado and Honeybook, those are the ones that I will do setups in addition to a few other pieces to put it all together. But like in general, that's what I specialize in. So Brooke, for you, when a client inquires with you, I'm sure it's a very different process, because you are not trying to figure out if specific tools will work for them. You're trying to figure out what they need and then basically make a suggestion to them. So how does that work in terms of first thinking about the strategy and then trying to tie it together with the tools that you think will work best for that specific client?
Yeah. So first I have that initial conversation of where their current state is and where they want to be. So what I'm trying to figure out is, like you said, I'm not looking for a specific system. I am trying to figure out what's going to work and what's going to be the most efficient way to get there. So from there, we basically reverse engineer from that goal and, determine what we can do about it. That way we're not, only taking incremental steps through the process, but we're keeping things connected to their bottom line, since we're talking about those things and walking about those things back to the goal. A way that I do that is actually through the use of lean implementation. So lean process improvement techniques. And I use one called cascading metrics, and I use one called the why method. So either one of those. And I also use them together using the why method first. So going through that why method, you ask yourself, what's the goal? You start there. Okay. We want to ask ourselves why. Why do we want to do that? Well, because this. Okay. Well, why is it that? Well, because this. Well, why? Well, because this. And you do it about 5 times. And I mean, once you get to the bottom, you not only have an understanding of, what you need to do, but you've uncovered how you can get there. Okay. So once you start with that why approach and you figure out that, then you can implement the cascading metrics. So the cascading metrics is a way to gauge your KPIs so you can see how things are contributing to your bottom line and how things are contributing to your mission and vision and values, because that's the most important thing, keeping things in alignment with those things. That way your business can operate smoothly. You can operate, in alignment, feel good about it. And I mean, everything feels good across the board, from the technical aspect to how you actually feel. So the way that you do that in the approach to cascading metrics for the strategy piece of it is you look at it through a bucket approach from the top down. So what I mean by that is the first bucket would be your vision, mission, and values. The next is your executive goals. So strategically thinking about your financials and your budget. And then is your department goals. So let's think of, your operations department. And then taking the step down from your department, you go into your team goals. So what type of communication you need to have, what's the actual plan, what specific tasks need to be done and by who to be able to achieve that specific goal. And then the very, very last tier is going to be your individual goals and what you actually contribute to that. So in the why approach, we have identified what we need to do and how we need to get there. In the cascading metrics approach, we have taken those actual things and divided it out and connected it to our bottom line and divided it out, through our team. So that way everybody has a sense of what they need to do, when they need to do it and all of the things. So in that approach to systems, you can keep things in alignment across the board. And I mean, you're focusing on, the strategy piece. It's not just when people come to me for systems, a lot of people have the misconception is just setting something up, but it's not anything strategic. But I mean, you have to look at the operational aspect of how things are flowing in order to have something that works for you. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you and it's going to be a waste of time and money. And my goal, whenever I'm approaching things, is to work with that lean perspective in mind. So cutting the waste, cutting the fluff. If we don't have to click here 15 times, we're not going to do it because that's a waste of my time. Yeah. So, we want to get rid of the wasted time, get rid of the wasted effort, wasted energy, wasted money. So if we're using something that we don't need to be using because something else we have can do that as well, or we don't need to have that specific initiative in place, then we don't need to be spending money on that. So, I mean, you're tightening everything up when you're focusing through that lean lens of things.
Okay, so that was a lot. And let me say that I think, no apologies. I think that I'm finding this part of the conversation really interesting because in 2023, I think I've started taking a slightly different approach to my systems than I did in the past. And that is, instead of figuring out everything that I can do for a client when they come through my doors, I have started thinking about the simplest systems that I can give someone. Because what I have found is that while I think that you should do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you actually only need A, B, C, D in order to get it done. I'm trying to limit overwhelming my clients with systems, especially those that are brand new, those that are not really coming to me for the optimization of the systems that they already have in place. If they are getting brand new systems, some of them are getting overwhelmed by parts that I don't think that they should get overwhelmed by. And it's parts that they really don't need. I'm trying to make a conscious effort to, lean in and give my clients the first few steps to
Mhm.
optimizing their systems. And then when you've got a really good handle on that, I'm happy to help you introduce new systems. In some cases, I will even tell them, like, and once you've done this, I've got this set up for you to do next. You can just start using it. But it's just one of the things that I realized that I was doing a disservice to my clients. And it sounds like you feel this way the same. You want to make sure that there aren't extra things inside of their systems that are that are costing them time and money to implement that they really don't need. And so I know when you and I were having our initial conversation, I was like, no, oh my God, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fact that it is strategy first and tools second, which is why I am obsessed with the fact that, like, you'll basically just set up any tool. You want to know what they need, what is going to drive their KPIs, what is going to allow them to do all of the tracking before you actually create a tech stack for your clients. So in that vein, so someone contacts you and you're having your initial, let's call it a consultation call. I don't really like to call them sales calls because it's really an alignment call. Like, do we jive?
Oh, I love that.
Can I help you? Yeah.
I've been wondering about like changing mine because like I've been struggling with like is it a discovery call? Like, what are we discovering? You know what I mean? Like, is it a coffee chat? Like, alignment call sounds amazing. I'm going to steal that if you're cool with that.
I'm so cool with that. I mean, I think I've got like a little reel on Instagram where I talk about the fact that like my consultation calls are not sales calls. Yeah. And of course, sometimes people are like, yeah, but then you get the people that want to pick your brains. Well, then you have to tell them, yeah, no, if you hire me, like that's what we're going to do. But like the back and forth, that initial chat is just to make sure that you get along. That your values align, and then also that, you know, what they need, you are able to provide. Now, in your case, what you provide is way wider than what I will do. And so the alignment part for me is more about tools than it would be. I mean, of course, we have to get along, but in general, like I have very strict, I mean, for example, you'll understand this. When someone comes to me and they tell me that they have a team, I'm like, okay, wait, full stop. I need you to tell me what every person on your team currently does, how your scheduling works, how your communication works, because the two tools that I typically work in, Dubsado and Honeybook, are not great for teams. And so if you answer questions in a particular way, I'm like, okay, the tools that I would use are not great for you. And so here are my suggestions. And here's like people that I think can help you set that up, but it's not me. I'm not the one.
Yeah.
But so once you have the call, how is it that you are creating that tech stack for them? Like, how is your actual system set up, laid out? Because you do the consultation, you do the alignment call. They decide they love you, Brooke. They're going to hire you. And then I'm assuming that you have like an actual strategy call, but like where in your process do you actually make the proposal for the actual tools that it's going to take? And how many of your clients are coming to you with a tech stack already that you are then encouraging them to like discard and go with something new?
Yeah, I mean, well, that situation happens pretty frequently, but when it comes to, you know, someone coming on new, where we get started, of course, is first just having that conversation of their expectations, what they want to happen. And we wouldn't go too deep into the strategy at the beginning. Like we wouldn't go probably into like the whys or the metrics that I was talking about. We would just kind of get like an overview. And then I would ask them, you know, what do you have now? All of that. Do you have any systems you have in mind that you would like to be using in the future? Because they might have a grasp on some kind of knowledge or education from something else that they might want to be using. And then we just get really factual about that. So for example, let's say I'm onboarding you. You have a funnel build coming up at the end of the year. You want me to set up Flowdesk for you. What I'm going to say is, okay, yeah, we can definitely set up Flowdesk for you, but here are the limitations of the platform when it comes to funnel builds. So when it comes to funnel builds with Flowdesk, you can't get specific with your tagging inside of your emails. You can, however, do workarounds and make segments. It's going to be a little bit more techy and have zaps connected here and there. So it will be more of a quote process when it comes to third-party integrations. And you're not going to be able to appropriately tag your leads in the right way that you want to, or track for clicks or any of those things. So just like want to let you know that up front. You have this funnel build scheduled, and we want to get you to the place where you are tracking those metrics and have everything set up in the most efficient way possible. Here's another platform that I would suggest, whether that's ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit, and how that is a replacement for this one and how that will benefit your funnel better, and how we will save time now by starting with that platform and not Flowdesk. So because if you're starting with Flowdesk and then you build up a list over a year, now we have to go through a platform migration. And that's not only just exporting and importing contacts, you have to optimize as you go, clean things up, move people where the tags where they're supposed to be, set up new automations. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Not that you're the one doing it, but it's still another thing that you have to go through. And also you have to account for the time for, your new platform, whether that is ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit, to warm up to you sending out all of the frequent emails that you do. And, you might have people's emails now start going to spam. I mean, there are a lot of things to consider when it comes to that. So what I would do is just give them all of that information as much as I can. I'm not perfect. I don't know all the things. There are tons of things that I don't know, but what I do know, I will give you all the knowledge that I have, so that way you can make the most informed decision. And if you say, Brooke, yes, I am having a funnel, or I am creating a funnel at the end of the year, but right now I really just want to use Flowdesk because I like it and it's pretty. I'll be like, okay, great. Sounds good. We will get you set up in Flowdesk in the best way that I can set it up for you for this. And during that process, I'll make sure to really, really get intentional about how I'm setting it up. So that way, when you get to that phase of a funnel build, it will be better. It's not going to be the perfect, operations and organization that you want, but you'll be able to operate with it. And I'll also, record you looms whenever we wrap up on how you can adjust here or there or anything like that. So give them all of the education I can, have them lead that conversation, have them lead that decision. Because at the end of the day, they're the one who's paying for the platform. I can't twist your leg and make you buy ActiveCampaign. Yeah. What I can tell you as someone who mainly focuses in funnel integration and builds and setups, and I'm in the platforms every single day, and I'm building funnels in multiple different, I am building funnels in ConvertKit, I'm building funnels in ActiveCampaign, I'm building funnels in Drip, everywhere else. I know this because I'm in it all of the time. So I'm giving you the most informed decision, and what you do with that is your decision. And if you want to approach it and stay with Flowdesk, great. If you get to the point of scaling and you need to get switch, that's going to be another conversation as well. Because you're not only needing a platform migration at that point, you are scaling. And when you get to the point where you're scaling, it gets quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And you almost have to basically stop everything that you're doing to have to either rebuild or, direct your focus to getting that fixed instead of focusing on continuing to scale. So my whole intention is to keep you where you want to be, keep you on the path moving forward, and tidy things up, behind the scenes as we go, and make sure that everything can be connected and is in alignment for that long-term goal, not just for the right now. Yes, we look at the priorities broken down through all the things and what's priority for this month or for the quarter, whatever, but based on the whole yearly goal, whole yearly initiative, and whatever it entails, the funnel. We want to make sure that we're keeping that in mind, and whatever we're doing in the meantime, we should be chipping away at for that later on. So that way it's not a huge deal when we get there. But I also want to give the disclaimer of the way that you and I approach things is one way isn't right and one way isn't wrong either. So, you can definitely just be no, I work in these platforms. This is all I set up, yada, yada. This is my preference on what I do. Yes, I can do the other things. Great. That's your business. And that's absolutely okay. The way that I approach it, the reason why I approach it the way I do is because I have that lean training background to where I can help with that strategic piece and be able to guide in different areas. And I have the education and knowledge from the different platforms I've worked in with funnel builds. So I have all of that already inside me. Why not utilize it and expand more? So, you can approach it either way. It honestly doesn't matter. Either way, is not right and not wrong. It's totally okay. So I just want to make that disclaimer for anyone out there. If you're struggling with, picking what you specifically want to serve with. So if you are a service provider and you're trying to decide if I should offer all the things with systems, or if I should say, no, I'm a ClickUp expert. I mean, do what you want. I mean, whatever is going to be in alignment for you, whatever is going to feel better for you, whatever is going to help you be successful at the end of the day, that's on you. That's whatever you want to do. And that's wonderful and perfect and great. And I commend you for that. You don't have to do all the things. And I mean, there may come a day where I'm like, there will come a day when I niche down probably and be like, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to do this, this, and this. So, I mean, the best advice I could give in that perspective is listening to yourself, listening to what feels right in the moment as the one who's giving the service and providing that service. Because I got started as a VA. I transitioned to an OBM. I transitioned to a funnel integrator. I transitioned to, doing more operational aspects. I'm transitioning the entire time. I've been in business, almost 3 years now. And I mean, that's a very, very short amount of time, but I've done so much. So, I mean, I think it's really important to just, listen to yourself, lean into what feels right, and let that guide you, because then you're going to be in alignment with what you're doing and, where you are. Sorry to go on a tangent. Oh my goodness.
It's okay. So one of the things that was just sticking out to me as you were speaking is the aspect of future-proofing someone's business. Mm-hmm. And I do think that that's a huge part of what we are providing as systems strategist, systems educator, is sometimes you have short-term goals and a tech stack that may work for you now that is not going to serve you in the future, especially when you start to scale. And so one of the things that I know from working with solopreneurs is a lot of them can't imagine the scaling part. They're like, right. Oh no, I mean, I'm doing really great right now. This is what I want. And it's funny, honestly, it's hysterical that you started with the Flowdesk example, because I just left Flowdesk in January and moved over to ConvertKit. But one of the reasons that I did that was, as you mentioned, I got tired of not being able to do self-segmentation in my emails. And every time you wanted to see analytics in Flowdesk, it takes 5 clicks. Now, could I make Flowdesk work? Absolutely. I had made it work for a while. But now that I am starting to, guess what? Build funnels, guys.
Yeah. Wow. I hit the nail on the head with that.
You did. I was realizing that Flowdesk was no longer worth the headache. I love Flowdesk. It is beautiful. And since I work with a lot of photographers, I typically don't recommend that they have to leave Flowdesk. The emails were created for you, visual artists. And so unless you are doing a lot of funnels, a lot of tagging, a lot of segmentation, you probably don't need the features of a ConvertKit or an active campaign. But if I know a photographer is going to start offering education in the future and they're going to have funnels. And guys, I just want to make sure that everybody knows what we're talking about when we're talking about funnels, because I just realized some people in my audience might not know what we're talking about. Guys, a funnel can be as simple as you have a freebie, on the photography side of my business, I have a freebie for what to pack and take to the hospital when you're getting ready to have your baby. When they download that freebie, there are things that happen after, maybe I send them a welcome sequence. Maybe I get them added into my newsletter. Maybe I tag them depending on, where they are, when they're due, all those kinds of things. So funnels is just a really fancy way of saying bringing people into your business and serving them until they become clients, and then of course continuing to serve them after. But that's a fancy, that's a very simplistic way of describing what a funnel is. We all have funnels. If you have people coming into your business, you have a funnel of some kind. You just may have never heard it described in that manner.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, it's also the guiding them through their specific path of how they came in. So, I mean, if they opted into this freebie, then we want to nurture them a little bit based on that freebie topic. Yes. If they came in on another, we want to educate them on that, but also, putting them where they need to be in our organization in the background. So that way, when we have launches, we can target the right people based on what they downloaded, based on what they're interested in, because we don't want to blast out information to people that didn't specifically opt in for this type of offer in general. We don't want to bombard them with that, but yeah, it's really guiding them through everything that you talked about in a way that is targeted towards what they like opted into.
You're used to working with like coaches, and I feel like the people that you work with tend to have teams versus the people that I tend to work with. I mean, most of them are solopreneurs. Some of them may have like a social media marketing person or a virtual assistant, but like they don't have full-fledged teams. So I think you've already touched on it, but I'm going to ask you anyways.
Yeah.
What do you see is a big difference between creating systems for a solopreneur versus creating systems for someone who has a larger team in place?
I would say, I mean, one to start off with, like that's like obvious, is the education piece of it. So, I mean, you're not just teaching someone and setting something up for one person. You are now teaching a group of X amount of people and needing to have multiple conversations so that way everybody can understand the grasp of whatever you're doing. So that way things can still operate and flow, as you go. So whenever I'm working with a team versus a, one-to-one aspect, I'm probably going to have a lot more SOPs that I create. I'm probably going to have a lot more, things that I give them or things that I'm explaining or things that I'm walking them through, giving them multiple other scenarios, because we not only want to give a team what they need to be working on. So that way, they understand how to use it, but we also want them to understand in a way that they can optimize moving forward in a way that works for their business. So yes, we're going to also give that to the other person who is just like the one-to-one person, but it's going to be a little bit more advanced or more heavy on the like, let me help you type situation for the team itself.
Yeah. And so how I'm wondering, like, from a tech perspective, are there any major differences or major decisions that you make if you know that someone is a solopreneur and maybe they outsource things to someone outside of their company versus someone having a larger internal team? Have there been any other like, oh my gosh, you didn't think about this, but now that I know that you have a team, we should consider this when we are building out your strategy and when we are selecting the tools that will most efficiently help you? Because like, as I said, like when someone comes to me for a team, I'm like, no, full stop. You probably don't need Dubsado. I probably wouldn't recommend Honeybook. But tell me the other parts of your business so that I can see if I can, make some recommendations, because that's definitely not my strong suit. But I do feel like there are tools that are much better suited for people who have teams versus like the solopreneur.
Yeah, I think it goes back down to what niche they're in, what, their overall goal is, how they're operating their team now, what do they have in their system stack now. So, there's a lot of considerations to think of before you even say, oh, okay, well, I know that you have a team, let's do that. Because think through the process of like their mind and how they have things set up now, so that way I can help them optimize moving forward. But I do know that whenever you have a larger team, you're probably going to have a lot more tech involved, and you're also going to need probably a higher package of each type of tech because you need people to have multiple access pieces. Like you might have, I know on ClickUp, you have to pay, X amount of dollars per person unless it's a guest or whatever. So you have to take that into consideration as well. So it's not just implementing something and paying for what it is. It's implementing something, paying for what it is, and either sharing your passwords with everybody or everybody needs access to it in their own like way, which means you have to pay for 5 extra people, and that's a whole nother expense. So there's a lot to consider, honestly, whenever you have a team versus one person. So I would definitely probably sit down in a more strategic aspect with that person to really hash things out, so that way we're really cutting things close. Because just when it comes to like money in general, you don't want to be investing in something that like not everybody is like using. So if you're using like the bare minimum of something that you're paying for, okay, well, let's just move that over somewhere else, because we can get rid of that. If everyone on the team is not using that, we don't need to have that. Yes, you have your specific team members who are, either a VA or a creative or whatever. They have their things that they work in, but we also want the platforms that work for everyone as well, and really maximize on those. So, like I said, it just goes back to who they are, who they serve, what they're doing, what their goal is. And then we just really take it from there. And I hate to say that because that's like such a generic answer. But like, I feel like that's almost my answer for a lot of these things is because I do work in that capacity, and it gets my mind turning, and I'm like, okay, well, now whenever you're asking me these questions, I'm asking myself questions. Well, I need more context to be able to like answer that. So what I'm saying is like, it's definitely a custom approach.
Yes.
But we can get you to where you want to be, and we can optimize it, we can trim it down, and it'll be good.
But so, Brooke, I mean, you think that you gave a very generic answer, but let me tell you that you didn't. Here's what I pulled from that. I realize that it's custom. I realize that that's your actual expertise. Like, I can't tell you what I would do until I hear all of these other things. But the one thing that you just said, again, I'm going to go back to like getting with a systems specialist so that you can future-proof your business.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense for you to build all of these systems in ClickUp if you imagine that in the future, you're going to have a team of like 4 people. And if everyone actually needed a paid seat in order to complete their task, and then paying for all of those seats is going to put you way out of budget, maybe you should reconsider signing up with ClickUp in the first place. Like, I feel like that is a lot of value that you would give someone in that. Okay, so like you said, the bigger the team, it's likely to cost you more in your tech stack. But I don't think that I've ever really thought about telling someone that up front. Like, it's just you now. But when you get all of these people added to your team, this is what your tech stack is going to eventually cost you. Like, let's go back to the email. One of the things that you said that was amazing is, I can make Flowdesk work for you, but you're going to need an integrator. You're going to need like Zapier in order to connect Flowdesk to everything. And people don't think about how much that's going to cost them in the long run.
I mean, if you're doing that path specifically, you're not just going to need the basic free plan 5 zaps. You need multi-step zaps. You need the next step up plan. I mean, that's probably the minimum, which is probably going to cost you what, $30? I mean, it's still $30, but I mean, it's still $30. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but when you start to add those things up, like, okay, Zapier went from being free to, and girl, I think you're minimizing it. I think you need to pay the $49 a month. So like, that's a huge jump when you think about, you went from paying $0 to $600 just so that you could keep Flowdesk. So in that case, Flowdesk is not costing you either $19 a month or $38 a month, depending on if you got that 50% deal. It is costing you that plus Zapier. So like, I used to have a quiz funnel. I don't anymore. But one of the things that I was thinking about when I had my quiz funnel was, in order to get the segmentation data, I couldn't get the bare minimum of Interact. I had to go up because I had an email system that did not natively integrate with Interact. So it's not just the cost of the one piece of software. That's what I want you guys to take from this conversation. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And so when you come to a systems expert like myself or like Brooke, we are going to help you see the whole picture. And we're also going to help you future-proof so that, okay, it's great. And I know that you're thinking that you're going to be paying, like $300 in tech fees a month now. But I'm telling you that when your email list gets over 1,000, when you add 2 more team members, which is your goal in the next 12 months, your monthly cost is going to go from this to this automatically, in addition to paying those 2 people. So it's big picture. It's big picture, guys.
It really is. I mean, in that specific example, think about ActiveCampaign. Yes, it's a little bit pricier already, but that their packages are based on people, like contacts. So if that means I'm integrating to ActiveCampaign to create this massive funnel, and this is my goal number of leads, now you have to consider that goal number of leads, because now your contacts are going up that amount, which means you're going to have to pay even more. And ActiveCampaign is a yearly charge. So that means it's going to take, your annual bill from, $100 to $200 to a couple $100. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you really have to account for all of that. And I feel like people, they don't get that technical when it comes to, oh, I just need this platform. Oh, I just need this system. Oh, so-and-so said I need this system. I'm just going to get it. No, like, you need to break it down. we need to, it needs to work for you. It needs to be in alignment with you. You need to be able to operate it and understand it. And it needs to not be wasting like you money or time or any of those things.
I mean, I have a saying, like, just do what Colie says. However, You cannot just listen to my podcast or go to my YouTube channel or read a blog post. Like, guys, when I say do what Colie says, sometimes you have to actually have an individual conversation with me. I am not telling everyone that the way that I do things is for everyone. For photographers, it covers like 80% of you. But you do have to ask, because everybody deserves and needs systems that are customly crafted together for their business. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't just throw something else into the mix just to have it, or just because someone said that this is like what they recommend. Well, that's great, but let's see if it's going to work for you. Yeah.
Brooke, our conversation has been amazing, and we are going to close this interview by me asking you the one question that I swear everybody tunes in to hear, and that is, what was the biggest fuck up in your business? What did you learn from it, and how did you grow?
So being a systems and tech person, I'm going to tell you, I run into that all of the time. So it's not just a, one big situation that kind of like messed everything up for me. There are multiple situations of where I run into things as an integrator where things don't work. Things aren't connected right. Things messed up everything else. The email didn't go out on time. The people didn't get tagged. The segment was wrong. It happens all of the time. And it happens because we're human, user error, setting things up. Sometimes it doesn't, capture. Sometimes the system is wrong. And sometimes tech is wrong. It just, errors out, or the platform's being glitchy, whatever. Sometimes, like I said, human user error. The way that I approach that is to really make sure in my process, I'm going through like laser focused, making sure everything's, triple checked. I've tested it multiple times. We're good and grand. But when I do run into those situations, it really, really sucks, because you want to be providing, 5-star experience. And then whenever the most simple thing goes haywire, like the email formatting was like messed up, the client's upset because that's not, what they want to be, putting out into the world. And that comes back on me, where it's like, that's like the smallest thing. Like, why didn't that work? I tested it multiple times. So instead of like beating myself up about it, it's, I'm going to test it, one more extra time each time. Yeah. Another thing, I guess, here we go. Here's the specific example. In this one that I'm talking about, one time I had tested an email multiple times. When it did go out, the formatting was a little wrong. Now, this flash forward months and months and months, another client, not the same situation happens, but I'm running into it in the testing phase. And I'm like, what is going on? So this is an active campaign specifically. So during that time, they just had like one email builder as far as like the templates you can use. Now they have like two different ones you can use. And this person was using the new one. And the reason why it was messing up is because the global settings were wrong. So it wasn't ever set up to begin with the right font, the right size font, the right colors, any of that, the right padding, all of the things. So whenever I was testing it, sometimes it looked right, sometimes it looked wrong. So I was able to troubleshoot that, fix the global settings, and now the testing phase is so much easier. But that's just one example of like that finally coming full circle and feeling good. But just as a integrator in tech and systems, it literally happens all the time. It sucks. It's devastating sometimes. Even the smallest things. And I try to not beat myself up over that. I'm an Enneagram 6, so I'm always in my feels. So I have to really make sure I'm not like really worrying about it. With that being said, I'm really intentional about how I approach things, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. I'm testing it and it's coming out the way that I want to for every single client. But you are going to run into those times. So you not only have to give yourself grace in that, situation, but also open up the door for communication and just an open and honest conversation with your client about the situation that's happening in the testing phase, or if whatever went haywire, so that way they can understand what happened, how it happened, and what you're going to do about it. Because at the end of the day, what they want to hear is, what's the fix? How is this not going to happen in the future? They don't want to hear, well, I messed it up and I'm really sorry, da da da. They want to hear that, and now this is how it's set up in the future. It's going to be totally okay, blah, 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 whatever. I apologize for the situation. It's not, I don't know what haywire, but I definitely can make sure that in the future, this isn't going to happen. So that's kind of like the generalized answer I can give you is, in this role, it happens all the time, and you kind of have to run with it.
Yeah. But I think that what all of us should take away from that is, number one, if you haven't listened to episode 60, where I brought Caitlin Deacle on to talk about Enneagram types and how it's related to you running your business, please go back and listen to that episode.
It's so related. I mean, take all the personality exams, take all of them, because once I took, my strengths, my Enneagram, my MBTI, all of the things, now I'm more fine-tuned with how I'm hardwired to show up, and I can lean into that and it feels better. So recommend that.
And the second thing that I'm going to say from what Brooke said is if you take nothing away, well, let's do two things. The two takeaways that I want you to have from my conversation with Brooke is, number one, there is not a one size fits all system for everyone. It has to be customized. You have to take a deep look at your business and see the big picture before you start to build systems and before you start to select your tools. But the second thing that I want to say that she said is everyone should test their systems. And even though you have paid someone like an integrator or a system strategist to build your systems for you, before you make them live, you should test them one more time. Every opportunity that you have, you should be testing your systems.
Agreed. Always have that last quality check. You got to.
All right, Brooke. For the listening audience, can you tell them where they can find out more information about you and your services?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram. My handle is @ops.analyst.brooke. That's typically where I show up the most. I do have other social platforms that you can probably find from my Instagram. So if you want to connect there, absolutely, let's do it. But I definitely show up more in real time on Instagram. So we can chat there about all of the things. Yeah. So if you want to connect with me and learn more about what I do, I share all the things that I'm working on. I share a lot of educational content. That's kind of like my focus, is making sure that I'm at least putting that out there. And I'm heavily leaning into my blog right now. So you can check that out.
All right, Brooke, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This was an amazing conversation. Everyone, that's it for this episode. See you next time.